G'day Gridiron Queensland community, week 8 here on Gridiron Queensland TV, brought to you by Live Streaming Brisbane. We have got another doubleheader for you, this time both from the men's division. First up, kicking off in just minutes, we've got the Toowoomba Valley's Vultures taking on the league-leading Brisbane Rhinos. Like always, got a couple of coaches to talk to me, starting with Andrew Seddon, head coach of the Vultures. Mate, a bit of a tough season. Yeah, it's really a culture-building season for you. What are you looking to take out of today's game?
Mate, so long as we just execute really well today and the boys don't commit too many turnovers, which has really been a bit of an Achilles heel for us this year, just giving away cheap ball. You're not going to win many games giving away the ball the way we do.
Mate, a bit of salt in the wound. Just when you thought you had enough in actors, you had a couple more pull-outs today. Mate, how hard is it playing with so few soldiers sometimes?
Yeah, mate, sometimes it's a bit rough. You don't really have that depth behind you, but the guys that we have here, they're all aware of what they're facing today. And for me personally, I used to love playing Ironman football, so hopefully a couple of these guys do too as well.
Mate, one guy that you singled out to me yesterday was linebacker, and now today running back Joel Keep. What are you expecting out of the veteran? What are you needing out of the veteran today?
Keepy for us has been really good, but he's been a bit up and down with his injuries. He played only half a game last week, so long as we can keep Keepy healthy, he should be providing his goods, so should be fine.
So, Coach, I appreciate your time, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Coach Booker, I'll keep it short. We're not too far away from kickoff. Look at today. It's a bit of the top end, bottom end of the spectrum as far as ladder goes, but could easily be a danger game for you. What have you told your players about today?
As far as danger games, we don't talk like that. Every game is a performance day, so no matter who we're playing, we're just going to play our ball. It doesn't matter if it's top team or bottom team. It's just about us playing ball.
Fantastic. Coach, you're missing a couple of players today. I've heard, up to about 20 players there. Is this an opportunity for a couple of your 2s and 3s to step up?
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to make our men's team much younger for the future. So we have some Colts players playing today that likely will play on our team for the rest of the season. So playing guys up to get them better experience for the future. Like I've always said, we're building for the future right now. Yeah, today there's going to be a point in the game where our entire offense besides our offense line will be Colts players, and we're going to score some points with them. So excited to see those guys play.
Indeed. Mate, talking about a sighting as well, wide receiver Cheyenne James, he's off for the NFL outreach combine at the moment. What do you hope for him?
Yeah, so with our program, what we really want to do, like we have a Pathways program where we're trying to get guys over to college and our older players to give them the best opportunity possible. So Cheyenne James has the opportunity to work out for NFL scouts today. He went down to the Gold Coast last night and he's there training today. Also, Tom Hansen is taking the SAT to fulfill his scholarships the attention he's getting from colleges. So super excited for those two dudes. Like we will miss them today. Of course, they're great players, but at the end of the day, we're doing what's best for people. And team sports lead to personal success, and that's awesome.
Fantastic. Appreciate your time as always.
No problem.
Good afternoon, Gridiron Queensland community and whoever else may be joining us around the nation or around the world for that matter of fact. We are in round 8 of the Gridiron Queensland 2018 season, and LSB is back to bring you all the action, this time a doubleheader in the men's division. First up, we've got the league-leading Brisbane City Rhinos taking on the Toowoomba Valley's Vultures. It is a case of a bit of David versus Goliath. And for thoughts on that, I'll bring in former coach, it's surely on a hiatus, Phil Levis, who's joining me in colour commentary today, mate. Is it a case of David and Goliath today?
Very much so, although looking at the size of some of the boys from the Vultures, you may not think that. They've got some big boppers there on their O-line, but as far as personnel numbers and firepower, I think the advantage is with the Rhinos today.
Yeah, so not only do they have the athleticism, they certainly have the experience as well. But the Vultures, they breed them tough out in Toowoomba. So a lot of these guys are more than happy and more than willing to make a statement against the big kids on the block, which is currently the Rhinos.
Yep, the Vultures always come to play hard. They may not always have the personnel or the experience, but they always put up a good fight right to the very end, which should be make for an entertaining game today.
Exactly right. The rain has actually seemingly gone away here at Deception Bay on the north side of Brisbane, or far north side, but it could be back as quickly as it left. So hold tight there on we're on a brief respite of rain for now, and I think these teams will try to use that dry weather as quickly as they can. And it's not Cockwork kicking off, but it's an impressive kickoff nonetheless. Back trying to return it, and it was touched before. He got moved into the end zone, so his returnal, and have they got a fumble Already it might be recovered by the Vultures, who are in the fluoro green. That return there from the Vultures was from number 33, Thomas Hodgkinson.
I think that actually was Eddie Cockwer there. Kenny?
Changed numbers on me,
yes,
has he?
he's done the old switcheroo.
He's not a fan of the number 1 anymore, apparently. So, oh, jeez. Hard lick there. I think by possibly Matty Neal, which dislodged the ball. So
Devontre Parnell in support.
And, well, Parnell has been laying the licks. I still think about that hit he laid against the Thunder.
Oh, yes.
On the
Ouch.
near side sideline. Still one of the biggest hits I've seen in Gridiron, Queensland.
Just waiting for a proper ball to come in, and we'll get the play underway.
And just marking on my roster that Eddie Cook has moved to 18. And I was about to say, it's unfair for them to have 2 kickers of that quality.
Yes, very unfair.
Maybe McLean wanted to be the only number 1. Here we go. On offense first, the Toowoomba Valley's Vultures. Cummins with the pass. It bounces off the hands of his intended receiver and will fall incomplete there. Cummins, the starting quarterback today for the Vultures. Usual starting quarterback, Alex Zajacek. Unfortunately, due to his size, had to move to O-line with all the missing players they have, and we'll talk more about that later. He's been the usual quarterback. He's a bit taller than Cummins. Cummins has been the backup all season. He gets another opportunity today.
Well, we'll see what he can offer. It would look like a little bubble screen or tunnel screen. There they were trying with the 3 wide set. Let's see what they bring out. This looks like another 3 wide set off to the other side this time.
They're going to the open side this time. 4 wide receivers, check that. 3, the other wide receiver, he'll be moving to the left. And have they caught him? Oh, have we got a false start? Let's take a look on replay here. They've queued it on up for us. Oh, what an angle. And, yep, they're going to catch the Rhinos here.
That would be Ryan Glasson, who normally does those when he's on offense.
And I just realized that Glasson, I haven't seen him playing defense since I coached him. Since you coached him and I coached him.
he does still like to get in there at nose occasionally and assert his authority, and the Rhinos themselves are down on numbers a little bit this week with some injuries and some people away, so they're putting in some of their more versatile players.
Ryan Glasson, Defensive Lineman of the Year 2012 in the junior division, as it was then known as. The one non-Raven to win an award that year.
Yes.
And a pass over the middle was intended for number 80, Michael Bowden. No, check that.
Number 10, by the
Number
looks.
10, my apologies. Yanni Helatera, who is apparently Finnish exchange student who's actually played in organised football over in Finland. And
With that last name, I believe we should call him the Holy Terror.
I don't think I even got it right the first time, so why not?
Yes.
Could be something along the lines of Holotra. If anyone's got the right pronunciation, feel free to message in.
It's like the Rhinos sticking with a 3 lineman set on their defense. Vultures going to a spread.
There you go. 2x2 set. Joel keeping the backfield. And he's going to hold on to this, Cummins. Cummins will find a receiver, and that receiver will find the right shoulder of Johnny Nico. And he's feeling it.
Yeah,
Yes, he is.
That will be a winding.
Johnny Nico can lay a lick as good as anybody else. He might want to have a chat to his quarterback of that one.
Yep. He did well to get the right spot to catch the ball, but needed it delivered a little bit sooner to give him a chance of evading.
And we'll take a short ad break while he recovers from this. We'll be back on the other side. And we're back, and Phil, you and I were just talking about Johnny Nico is just that perfect height to get right underneath his shoulder pads.
and very experienced too, so he knows exactly the right technique to use. Got the shoulder right into the ribs there. But the young boy is up and off to the sideline, so he might return later.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. Just a bit of a winning there, and possibly ribs. Let's see. Punting it away are the Vultures. It's a high punt, and it will hit the sideline. They're going to try and keep it away from Devontre Parnell. A pretty wise decision, if you ask me.
Yes, very much so. Jarvis not returning punts, but Devontre is just as good.
I don't think you'd rather either one or the three returning punts for you. And, both of them are well and truly capable of making plays, and the punt there, look, you'd probably usually be happy to give up an extra 20 yards in a short punt that hits the sideline than giving Parnell.
Yeah, it's a risk versus reward equation, definitely.
Well, Rhinos' first taste of offense. Here comes Christian Strong. Short slant completed to the man we were just talking about, and that is McClam on a slant route. They'll be about a gain about 5 yards.
Nice coverage there. Got right in behind and gave him a chance to get away once he had the ball.
And they're not going to really huddle here. They've got the sideline calls going. And I'm just looking at Sam Matautia, who I haven't seen play in the Rhinos jersey this year on live stream. He's in today. He's going to lead block, though. That doesn't look like Sam Matautia. Here goes Hokianga Tanawa on a bit of a jet sweep. He's finding space, breaking tackles. Flags are thrown on the far sideline. He's still slipping them, and eventually takes a shot, and we'll get down thereabouts. Well, I can't really see the numbers from here, the margins, but it looks like it was around the 15-yard line.
I think that might have been. It was definitely an 8 out there lead blocking, but it didn't.
I think it'd be Finn Shortman.
Yeah,
it's one of the young Colts that came in.
That
makes sense.
Throwing me.
Because no disrespect to Finn, didn't quite look like Sam Matautia.
No. We just got to figure out what the flag is for. I'd say it's holding or illegal hands to the back, something along that line.
I'll wait for the call. That's a cheeky block in the back. It's Andrew Calverley, the white hat for both of the two games this afternoon.
Believe that might have been enough to give them the first down still. The penalty being assessed from the spot of the foul, not from the previous spot.
So we'll take off some yardage, but it will give them the conversion of downs. 1st and 10. Ball around the 35. And this is a give to McClam. McClam tripped up and stopped after about a 6 or 7 yard gain.
Bit of an unusual formation there from the Rhinos. They didn't seem to have anyone on the line out this side, whether it was an offset line or... I think they're going a bit more conventional with this set though.
And this time McClam, he's on the near side sideline. Hokianga Tanawa inside him in the slot. He'll motion out. Will he get the ball? No, it'll be a fake. It'll be a give now. Who's this new running back in? It's Carlton. Carlton's cutting back inside and taking down inside the 5 is Timmy Carlton.
Nice little variation on the on their jet sweep there, faking the jet sweep and giving. I believe they tried that a couple of weeks ago when I was commentating
Sean
versus
Mad
the
Dog
Raptors.
Hunter.
Yes.
And Jackson, bro, loved the effort there. Pulled all the way from his left tackle position. Unfortunately, didn't have anyone to block. Isn't that the worst?
Yeah, not quite the worst. At least he got out and got to stretch his legs a little bit.
Looks good on stream. And here we now play action pass for the end zone. Well defended. Getting his hand in there to break that up is number 33, Thomas Hodgkinson again. And not fooled by the PI. Beautiful coverage.
Nice way to get the hands in there, break it up.
2nd and goal. Ball around the 7-yard line. Finn Shortman and a fullback. Let's see if the young fella might. Now, the right guard is in one of the most peculiar stances I've ever seen. Now he's checking it. Was he doing a shoelace or something?
Possibly.
It'll be a pass here. They'll look for the left without anyone near him is Jarvis McClam. He started that drive and now he finishes it with a beautiful touchdown in the left corner of the end zone.
Very well designed play there.
And you got so many receivers out there, so many people capable of doing stuff with the ball.
Yeah, it's very hard to account for all the possibilities on their defense.
And I think effectively there might have been a man coverage there, and they've just lined him up with linebacker number 58, who's
No, that's probably not going to get the job
the
done.
team list. It's hard to. Some of the best corners in this league can't run with him. Let alone a
No.
linebacker. So that's a PAT, and the score is now 7-0 in favour of the Rhinos. Here early in the first quarter, first offensive drive for the Rhinos results in a touchdown and a PAT. So the Vultures, they went 3 and out in their first drive. They'd hope to suck up a little more clock and get a little further down here on the next attempt. That's, of course, if they get a next attempt. Eddie Cockroy, he's got a bit of a mind of his own, doesn't he?
Yes, we gave him a nickname last game I was commentating, Eddie the Lottery Cockroy, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Especially when he does this. You've got it on screen there when he's talking to his team.
Yep.
He reminds you of that girl in high school. The cute girl in high school who's talking to all his all our friends. You don't know what she's scheming.
Yep. And if I was the Vultures, I'd be looking at their front line because there looks like a little bit of a gap in the middle there. And that is one of his favourite plays, to dribble it in for himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick it up at the 10.
He'll happily recover that himself.
Although with Eddie, anything could happen.
Well, let's see how Eddie, the lottery man, Cockwa, decides to do it. And you called it. Will it go there 10? Yes, it will. He nailed it. And, well,
Yep. The two inside men on the front line were just too far apart there on the hashes, and that's too much space for Eddie to exploit there.
he literally gets just the right amount of dribble on that. And I remember speaking to him ahead of the Sun Bowl a couple of years ago, and he told me that, when you're on a team purely as a kicker and punter, you want to practice everything a kicker and punter needs to do. And he says in his own time, he certainly takes the time to practice these sort of things, and he's been doing it for years.
Yeah, credit to him. He does put in the work to be able to pull that off. It's no accident that he is as prolific as that as he is.
First down now. Rhinos back on offense. Here goes Carlton. Carlton lowers his shoulder, spins out of a tackle, and we'll get close to a first down. A good rush there on first down.
Yeah, just following his blockers and moving through the holes very nicely, inside then out, breaks a tackle, and eventually brought down. Very good feet and balance on Tim there.
And the Vultures showing blitz. We'll only send 3 though, and here goes Carlton again in between the tackles. Charging forwards, got the first down and change.
The Rhinos look like they are going with an unusual setup here. They've got 3 tackles in the game, and the receivers are lined up all on one side. So it does give them an advantage with the run game, having that extra run blocker in.
And well, it creates a bit of an unbalanced look, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. It looks unbalanced, but it actually isn't. They've just got an ineligible player playing at tight end.
Which usually means they're loading up to run. And that's what they'll do this time with McClam. McClam, and beating a block there, once again, I think that's Hodgkinson, and making the tackle.
Well done, well done. See how he sheds the block here.
He shuffles down there. And
Just got in between the defenders. They both...
I think if you can see the frustration of Finn Shortman there, the
Yep.
young Colt.
I think that was his man.
Assignment. And remember, back live action now. Carlton play action pass. They go for McClam over the middle. Almost intercepted. A chance gone begging there for Chris Lau, the former state DB. The state corner turned free safety.
Yeah, just overthrew him there. I think Jarvis was in two minds whether that was for him or to the other receiver in the corner.
So You have a chance to pick off a collegiate quarterback there. You want to try and capitalize on that.
It'd be a nice little thing to put in your resume.
3rd and long. They'll give to Carlton on almost a counter look. He checks it off, moves back the other way, and is tripped up. Picks up maybe 4 or 5 yards. No, less than that. A yard.
I'd say about 3 yards or
somewhere in between. Our guesstimate. 4th down, and we'll call it 8.5. Rhinos no interest in kicking a field goal here. They'll go for it.
Possibly a bit long, and with this breeze, it might be a bit difficult as well.
Oh, don't tell Eddie that. Going for the sideline. Is it a nice grab? And I think it's enough for the first there, especially after all that yardage after the catch. Tanawa there with a chain-moving catch.
Yeah, good fight after the catch as well to make sure he had the extra yardage he needed.
That's huge. First down now. Completing a pass on 4th down that keeps this drive alive. Ball on the 17. Carlton, no. Christian will keep it. He'll throw out to McClam. McClam's got plenty of space and too much pace. Turns it into 6, and we have got a Vulture down back near the line of scrimmage. And we've seen them run that play before.
Yep.
It's some form of option, isn't it? I mean, we talk about the RPO, and that's a perfect example of it.
Yeah. They're definitely, if that defender comes up on Jarvis there, he would definitely keep it himself and go around the corner. It looked like either option was open for him there. And you just can't give Jarvis any space up the sideline.
You almost rather try to challenge Christian to run it. You know, if you want to give him a weakness, it's that. I wouldn't say that he's not an athlete, but his running is probably a lot less damaging than his passing.
No.
And here comes James Cowlishaw. The last man on there.
Must have forgotten he was on special teams today.
Tisk, Mr. Secretary. PAT is up. And PAT is good, 14-0. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. And there is interesting comment about James Cowlishaw. I went up and apologised to him today because I heard in your commentary with Sean Hunter a couple of weeks ago that you corrected him saying his name was Collishaw. So I went up to him saying, I've been saying your name wrong for the last 5 years. Apparently Cowlishaw is the right pronunciation.
Ah, well.
I backed you there, Phil.
Being part of his team, we don't normally call each other by last name, so I was guessing myself there.
Fair play. It's usually you or hey or
Yes,
Mr. Secretary.
That guy.
James Cowlishaw, a new father, in fact. I think I might have mentioned in previous streams.
Yeah, lovely little baby born a few weeks ago, I believe.
And he had a nice case of baby brain for a good week or two as he adjusted to the new sleep schedule.
Always fun.
You've had a couple now yourself, haven't you, Phil?
Yeah, two now, but they're sleeping by themselves now, so that...
all the damage is done during the day.
Yes.
Here comes Eddie Cockwa. Will he go conventional? Yes, he will. It's a bit of a line drive, though. Hodgkinson will patiently let it come to him. Now we'll look for some space. Beats Tanavasa and then gets... cops a shot, but he's up and good.
That was Matty Neal finishing off that hit. Nicely done. Well done. Get back up as well. Didn't catch who was around the legs to bring him to ground, but...
Yes. One thing I'll give the runners further credit for, their special teams, it feels like a competition out there. Everyone's trying to be the first go down.
Yes, but not losing their lanes as well. There was, 45... Well, 46 or I think Tanavasa, who made a good fake to around one hole to drive the runner up into the hole they wanted him to go, I think.
It's a fine balance, isn't it, about trying to get there as quickly as can without breaking your lanes.
Especially on a kick like that where the ball hits the ground, some kick teams tend to lose their minds as soon as that happens.
You get excited, you want to try and force the fumble. Here go the Vultures, a couple double pumps there and eventually gets it to the receiver. Number 37, Matthew Emmett. One too many pumps there, do you think, maybe?
Yes. Struggling to find a lane to get it to the man. I think his back just got in his way there for the first thing, and that gave the Rhinos time to swarm to it.
Well, the other thing as well, the ball's probably slippery, so it
Yeah.
might take an extra couple of spins of the wrist to...
Yeah, make sure you've actually
Especially,
got good hands
yeah.
on it, which also might be why they're going short passes as well.
Though it is one of the few advantages with less and less teams going under center nowadays. Going under center, that ball is supposed to be straight into your hand the way it should be. With the shotgun, you have to adjust it. Hard count, almost catching the Rhinos off guard. Maybe
I
they
think we
did.
had a false start on the left tackle there.
They got themselves caught up. It's left tackle, Zajacek, the usual quarterback. Definitely the size of a left tackle. And there it is. You can immediately see James Kalishaw pointing out the false start.
I believe you're supposed to point to the left guard. I can't remember if it was left guard or right guard. That was always the one that jumped. Been a while since I coached defense, though.
Yeah. We're just focusing on the light side, mate.
Oh no, I'm always a child of the dark. You know that.
Cummins will hand this off this time to Joel Keep, the All-Australian linebacker, I think. I'll just double check on that number. It might not be, actually. I think they've changed up. It is, no, it's Hodgkinson again, who's been asked to do almost everything.
Yep, he's earning his pay today. I think it was Matty Neal around the bottom and Ryan Glasson over the top to finish off.
Two veteran Rhinos right there.
Yep.
One certainly more veteran than the other.
Matty has been around a while, but shows no signs of slowing down.
Oh, I respect
Getting
the hell out
a
of
start at
Matty.
linebacker today as well, which
Yeah,
he'll be
absolutely.
very happy about.
Matty Neal has been a while, and there's always there's always a use for Matty Neal.
Yes, absolutely.
Three receivers out to the right. Will they go that way? It's a deep drop. Cummins will let it fly to the left flat. Intercepted by Johnny Nico. Nico will try to beat the last player, and he will be. Good for 6. Number 5 adds a touchdown to his impressive short season. Only coming into the season at week 5, I believe.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that, but yeah.
Well, he was training all the way in, but I think he only came in about week 4, week 5.
Okay, cool.
Work had him busy.
I didn't get to see many of the early games, having been on daddy duty for a lot of the season.
Well, you can see the skills that made him a state DB before it made him a state linebacker.
Yeah, he definitely is one of their more coverage-oriented linebackers.
And this one's good again. 3 from 3 is Cockwa. 21-0. And well, things are on schedule right now for the Rhinos. The Vultures, well, we heard in the pre-game interview from Coach Seddon, he said, all we want to try and do is limit the cheap turnovers. That was the goal of today. Obviously, maybe back to the drawing board with that one there, but it's hard to stop the Rhinos from making plays like that sometimes.
No, it's yeah, a little bit difficult. He was not a bad selection, just floated the pass a little bit and ball got jumped by Johnny Nico there.
And while the rain is gone, and it's still gone, it doesn't look like these clouds are moving at all that quickly. There is a slight breeze that's picked up in the face of the Vultures right now, so some of these lobbed passes, they're going to sit in the air just that little bit longer.
And also, yeah, with an inexperienced quarterback, may not have the most
The wits and
yeah,
the guile.
more of the technique. I was going to say to
One
get
of
as
us,
much pace on the ball as needed. Sorry, I just lost my words there.
It's all right, mate, you're only human. Here
That's
comes
what the doctors
Cockwa, it's shortening up the stride. We'll go high this time, mixing it up for us. And it'll be recovered by the Vultures, and they'll get the best field position they've had all day.
Not a bad tactic. Might have just put a little bit too much pepper on that one, Eddie. Allowed the defender to get to it before his men could.
So Nico just added the pick 6 to his stat sheet, still in a linebacker, as is Matty Neal and Sebastian Gordon, who's been a bit of a revelation on the defensive side of the ball this year.
He was a defensive end when he first started, then moved to tight end last year, and now he's made the move to linebacker. So he's trying to get all the positions.
Trying to tick off all the spots.
If this gets too much of a blowout, we could see him line up at DB.
Why not? Cummins is back. Cummins looking left, throwing over the middle, and Matty Neal has stopped that one there, and almost a turnover. And good little contact in the middle there, making it hard for the receiver.
Yeah, he just got him before the ball was thrown and continued it all the way through to the end of the play. Very hard to catch a ball when being driven backwards when you're out.
Linebackers, well, some people might claim PI on that, but there is a little room to wiggle and niggle in that box area with the linebackers, isn't there?
I think because he made contact straight off the line and maintained it the whole way through.
It is
You're supposed to release when the ball crosses the line of scrimmage, but there was no time.
It was a pretty
in
quick
that, I would
pass.
say.
2nd and 10.
Give the benefit of the doubt there.
3 down linemen for the Rhinos. They are showing blitz. They'll send 4. Kolishaw's close, and it's a pass completed to keep. Unfortunately, for limited yardage, if any. Matter of fact, it's a loss of 3.
Matty Neal getting out in the flat, making the tackle there.
Nice tackle there from Matt Neal. And we've got 3rd and long now for the Vultures.
Let's see what they can bring out. I dare say I'd try some trickery here, but then I try trickery every play.
Yes, you do. I know it well. Let's see what they've got. 3rd and long. They've got a trips bunch, a formation we haven't seen yet today. And the motion, one player, both players almost went though. Flag's been thrown. They'll probably get pinned for it now. Cummins flushed out to the right. He's rolling. He's going to try and run it now. He's been under pressure and is rushed out of the sideline for another loss.
I will say that the Rhinos will decline that illegal shift penalty and take the loss of yards.
We saw multiple people moving there. Once you break down for the new viewers what an illegal shift is.
You are allowed to have one person moving at the snap, but everyone must be set before he moves. So as soon as those 2 guys moved, they both had to get reset before someone else could move again.
I believe the ruling is officially 1 second set. You have to be
Yes.
set for 1 second. All right.
Yep, they have indeed declined the penalty and taken them to the 4th down.
And actually, yeah, they've lost a little more yardage than they would have gained out of that penalty. And of course, on top of that, they lose it down. 4th down now, and the punt unit is back. Now, it was supposed to be Alex Saunders, who's usually their kicker and punter, but unfortunately, seemingly did not make it down, or make it up, I should say, for the trip today. So there's a punt. It's always hit the kicker, but they'll let it go. This ball is out of bounds. Oh, let's call that in the
About midfield there, yeah.
midfield. And the punter is actually coming off with a bit of a limp now. That's young Colt Mitch Urbacher.
Normally a wide receiver.
They've got 3 Colts playing up for him, and they've been doing so throughout most of this season. Number 11, number 12, number 18, respectively. Mitch Urbacher, Isaac Jergs, and Julius West. Both guys who contribute on wide receiver and DB. The Rhinos will have plenty, and we'll start seeing a lot of them filter in as we speak. There's a couple on the field now, including the near side wide receiver right there. Christian Strong still in the game. He's got McClam long if he wants some. A face guard attempt by the DB. McClam still brings it in. How about that for concentration?
That was coolness personified. He just waited for that, sat under it. I dare say if the defender had have got an arm on it, he probably still would have managed to find a way to catch it.
It's almost like he saw through the DB on that one. He didn't look bothered at all. A hell of an effort from Hodgkinson. And it's funny that we actually call that. I wanted to double check about the face guarding rules if they've changed, and I checked with the officials beforehand. No rules on face guarding as long as you don't hit the defender. So
No, I believe that was only ever an NFL rule, which is one of the things that confuses people.
Oh, I thought it was a tackle for a loss. It's a good fake and a catch and a prayer for Hokianga Tanawa. This time catching a touchdown pass that isn't a tipped ball.
No. So you can do it. It's like they did a double fake there with the fake with the run and fake with the bubble screen, That just left a nice little opening underneath for Taniwa.
So many things with the RPO nowadays. You have to defend everything. The RPO designed pretty much to make you make a wrong decision. PAT is up and not successful. They get one on Kokwa. His first unsuccessful PAT of the day. The score remains 27-0.
Let's just see whether they got a good hold on that one. It appeared good.
Yeah, can't pin that one on Matty Neal. Now, is Matty Neal held throughout the years?
He's been a holder for quite a little while now. I believe we've had multiple people holding over the years, but this year I think he's done it all. I believe he was last year as well, if memory serves. Before that, I believe we might have had Dan Clark in there at points.
DC?
Yep. Always good to have someone who can throw in that position if need be, but Matty Neal would be a good option for a run up the middle if things went awry.
DC seemingly actually sticking to retirement this year?
yes, I haven't seen him, which is surprising.
Yeah, but his family's probably stoked.
Yeah, very much. He's moved up to the sunny coast and enjoying life up there as far as I can tell.
He'll be back.
It's in the blood. It's hard to stay away.
If nothing else, he'll commentate one day. Oh, that is one of the most fascinating things I've ever seen. We'll get back to that in a second. Here's a return here by the Vultures. Scrambling, plenty of hits. We've got blockers and DBs and defenders flying around. But let's see if we can get... I don't know if we're going to grab it here. But we just sort of miss it there. One of the frontline guys tried to block the kickoff. And he's probably offside.
Yeah, but he's definitely offside.
I'm not going to fault the effort, though. I love people trying to change the game, albeit illegally.
Well, he hasn't got flagged for it, so obviously the referees were either too surprised or just went, go for it, son.
I'm not sure who that was, but I want to shake your hand after this game.
I believe it might have been 48. I believe I saw a 4 in that. I'm not.
Yeah, Justin Duggan. Props to you, Duggan. Late today. Got in there eventually. First down and 10. Cummins. He's got 4 wide receivers. They go on verticals, but the Rhinos are going Sacktown. Joe Tulmavave taking him down.
Yep, Joe came back on the field last series and has gotten a sack in his second series.
That's a
long-time Rhino.
Former Australian defensive end.
Was planning on retiring this year, but came down to a training session and just couldn't stay
Ain't that
away.
The story? Pretty sure the same thing happened with Jack Hannum as well.
Yep, quite a few of them. I think you've got to move a fair distance away to get away.
Sunny Coast is apparently the distance you need to retire.
At a minimum. Several boys have gone into state or overseas.
A whole motorway. Cummins, again, 3 wide receivers to the left here. Not afraid to go deep. Cummins, he's got a man in the flat, and he'll aim for him. He's got him. Nice throw, nice catch. The reception made there from Yanni Hilatra. Finished wide receiver. A little bit of a clear out concept.
Yep. Rhino's just playing a little soft there in their zone by the looks of it, but still came up and made the tackle before he could get too many yards.
Parnell making the tackle on that play. 3rd and long. There's Kellershaw, Tulmavave, Tedavaso, who's now moved to defensive tackle. Started a DB, I believe, moved to linebacker. He's on the full transition.
Especially in a 3-man front, that's impressive.
And it's a nice pocket. Closes on him quickly, though. And taking him down. It's a single-digit number. I think that is Ernest Moore. This time playing on the edge. Used to him playing on the inside back position.
Yeah, with the numbers, I think he has been playing a little bit more edge linebacker this year.
He's got that versatility to play inside and outside.
Yep, which is always also a very big hitter, which would be in the back of the mind of most QBs when they're dropping back.
And now we've got
Vultures just checking they've got the numbers. They're one short.
One short, and he'll get him now. Oh, nope. They're making what's probably an illegal substitution.
Well, they might have taken a time out to deal with it. Oh, no, they got saved by the end of quarter.
Ain't that lovely? End of the first quarter here. They're going to take a short walk. So they end the first quarter. And we might take a short break. See you on the other side as we head into the first quarter. GQTV. And back here, start of the second quarter. Brisbane Rhinos lead 28-0. Vultures punting it away. And it's a decent punt, and I think it goes out of bounds right on the Rhinos 40.
Once again, aiming for the sideline there, trying to limit any opportunity for return. These dangerous return men on the Rhinos roster.
You see the bright green of the Tumul Valley's Vultures, who we were just talking in the short break and the change of quarter there. It's nice to have contrasting colours.
Yes. I believe the Rhinos were talking about one of their later games going back to their black jerseys for a sort of a Black Ops option.
James Calishaw did seek my opinion about that. I'm like, as long as you give me a correct team sheet,
yeah,
you can wear the rainbow for all I care.
All right. What have we got here?
Three receivers out to the left. This is a more common formation for the Rhinos. All receivers running deep except for number 13, who can't corral it. That's Mitch. Whoa, it can't be Mitch Wong. It's got to be one of the young Colts.
Henrik Walters.
Yes, the young kicker, punter, and wide receiver for the Colts program. A star for that number 2 ranked Rhinos Colts team.
That is one of the advantages of having an overseeing coach, is that they're running a lot of the same plays and signals, so that these players can slot in and understand what's required of them straight away.
Makes the transition a lot easier. Pass again. Strong still in the game. Throws it short. Unfortunately, had 2 receivers in the same vicinity, and they both went for it.
No, Tristan Gibson just got in the way of hooking it.
Well, it looks like he had a bit of a catch and release there, or it's a little block and release, my apologies. And,
looked almost like the setup for a hook and ladder there, but...
if we see a hook and ladder today, I'll leave my hat, mate. Not that I wear them.
No. One of the trick plays that seems to have gone the wayside, although I did see the Rhinos a few weeks ago running the swinging gate on extra points.
They did. And Carlton's in the flat, but he'll go to McClam on the strong side flat. McClam still untouched. Now look at the open space ability. Tiptoes the sideline, and he's in for a score. We're getting used to seeing that. Jarvis McClam, he goes for 55.
You've really got to get him to come.
Even that little inside fake is enough.
It's how you've got to. It's defenders end up overcompensating for his speed as well sometimes. Very interesting little play. I believe they were running a double screen there. There's an opportunity for a screen out to the left as well.
Shout out to Joshua Koo there as well, who did a good job getting downfield on the screen and sealing those inside defenders. Make sure my big men get their props.
Yep.
Oh, it's a bad hold, but Kokwa, could he turn this into a pass? He'll try to back himself for the corner pylon, and he'll get denied the opportunity. And that is, to the Vultures' credit, back-to-back denied PATs or two-point conversion attempts.
Well done. They didn't panic there when he started running around the outside and made sure everyone was covered.
Well done. And coming and making the play there is the experienced Christopher Lau, knocking him out of bounds before he can score. Good stuff. 34-0 early in the second quarter.
Yeah, speaking from experience, being on an extra point block unit, the heart does go in the mouth a little bit when the punter starts, or the kicker starts running around like that. You go, who have I got? What was I supposed to be doing when this goes pear-shaped?
Is this my fault? Meanwhile, one offensive lineman who's possibly eligible is like screaming to himself, "This is my chance! This is my chance!"
Probably Jack Hannum.
Unfortunately, center not eligible.
I think he'd still call for it and argue the point after the
He
fact.
would. He'll take the 15 yards for it as well.
Let's see what Mr. Cockwood dials up for us this time.
He's shortening up that stride. He's going to go for a higher one, hitting in between the first and second lines, which has definitely changed. Here goes Christopher Lau. Oh, truck stick. And then gets hit sticked in return by Ernie Moore. Wow, that's a lot of physicality in the space of 3 seconds.
Special teams is always entertaining.
Look at this. One high to a low.
Did well to break the first tackle there, but didn't account for Mr. Moore coming straight up the middle.
I really wish Tanavasa trying to lay a lick on the first attempt. Oh, I wish we had the onboard mics going on there. The 2 hits that happened so consecutively for us, we could hear it from our booth here, and we're pretty far away.
He did well though. He got straight back up.
He did. He's a tough young man. I think he's still young. He's been around for a little while now. First down and 10. Three wide receivers out to the right. And they will go short to Joel Keep. Joel Keep meets Tanavasa and gets stood up and down for a loss of
3 or 4, I'd say.
It's a steep one, 4 yards. Joel Keep possibly playing running back for the first time today in his long
there's an
illustrious
education.
career. And now he's coming off.
I believe they've got Ernest Moore playing at left defensive end now as well. He's lined up in a 2-point, but he's
Effectively playing end.
with Glasson at nose and Colashaw at the other end.
Just keep mixing them up. The linebackers are still now. Tanavasa, Gorton, Neil make up the linebackers. Nico almost playing more of a nickel now. And flags are thrown in around the line of scrimmage.
Another little twitch from the left tackle, I believe.
And yeah, it could be Zajacek, who, as I said, has played quarterback for most of the season. When you come in playing tackle against the speed that you're playing at today.
And also getting used to someone else calling the cadence.
Yeah, I can probably forgive him for 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah. Might have been I would have snapped it here.
He's still playing to the sound of his own cadence. Zajacek, though, he's a Tulma Vulture Jr., or back then I think he might have even been back in the Wolves days. I remember coaching against him, which means you would have been coaching against him.
Yeah, probably.
The big fella in those Joel Wood-led Wolves teams. And that's a pass that's almost completed to Helatera. And yes,
Unfortunate. It was a good pass and a decent route, just couldn't find the handle on it.
It's a nicely collected there. It was a high snap. Cummins gets up and brings that
Coverage
in.
was there, but got to his man, just
And Vultures take a
couldn't
time.
get both hands around it.
And there's on screen there, number 70, JD Stone, who was a late number change and late jersey change. He's been their Mr. Fix-It this year. He's lined up anywhere across the line. He's played all 3 linebacker positions. Was going to play running back today before one of their offensive linemen came in. And speaking about the offensive line, let's talk about a little theme. I was speaking to the coach last night, and he gave us this term called the Dad's Army. the Vultures, they've had to rely on a bit of bit of quality age and fine wines to get them through this year. He said they relied on what they call Dad's Army, which is the experienced offensive line group of Andy Farrell, Adam Groth, and Todd Steadden, all veteran O-linemen over the age of 40 years old.
Yep, know all those men very well and would not like to be lining up against them. Despite their age, they're all very strong, very experienced.
They've all got that man strength as well, the old man strength.
Yes,
the dad
yes.
strength. But yeah, they're affectionately known as the Dad's Army. Unfortunately, I think all of which are inactive today, but they've been trying hard all this season. I believe Adam Groth and both Farrell have work commitments that couldn't allow them to play the 2 p.m. game, so it would have been great to see some of those old Sun Devil veterans getting
I
on
think
there.
Mr. Snedden also might have a sick child at the moment as well.
Oh, that's the other. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, in hospital. Which has led to Zajacek moving to tackle. And that is an incomplete pass. Pass intended there to Matthew Emmett.
We'll swing pass out to the right, trying to clear out with the wide receivers and then give the running back a bit of space. But Rhinos were right there anyway.
And yeah, those 3 guys, Groth, Farrell, you played with or against all of them, right?
Just about all of them, yeah. At some point in the long career that I had and even longer careers that they have had.
It was good. Farrell, obviously a long time. He's been through a couple teams, but I think most people probably remember him from the Gold Coast as of recent. He still works down there. As this kick will go out around almost close to halfway.
Yep. And Adam Groth being Ipswich and Bears mainly.
Cougars and the Bears, yep.
And
Grothy.
Mr. Snedden mainly through the Cougars, and I think he spent a short time at the Bears as well.
Grothy also, I think he had 1 or 2 years at the Bayside Ravens, possibly.
Yeah, he may have.
Correctly, just 1 or 2.
Adding to the jersey collection.
Yeah. And a couple of those legends around. I think about my commentator from a couple of weeks ago there, and what's his name? How can I forget? Mr. Star 80, Justin Fernley.
Oh, yes.
He's got one of the most expansive GQ jersey collections in the league.
Yeah, the only thing that keeps him from playing is how far he lives away.
Oh, he would if he could. Up at Bundy, I'm sure he's watching in. And Nate Peterson gets a fake there. Riley Dix is now in at quarterback. There's a factory miss and actually loses the ball in the back end of that. And I think they're going to call it a Rhino ball.
Oh, very interesting. High snap, didn't get the handoff well and tried to run it himself.
You know, it looks like with the first quarter done and the midway through the second hour, close to the midway point, they're going to start moving in more of these Colts and a couple of the 2s and 3s. Nate Peterson. Peter, I'll make sure I get the right. Peterson 31. Peterson, yep. I think I called him Peterman last week.
It was definitely not a Colt.
He's not. There he is. He's getting his first carry. Oh, what a move. Oh, it almost makes a similar move. He picks up close to a first down. The veteran back.
Nice little back stick there for those who play Madden.
Ball in the wrong arm, though. He can still get it done. 3rd and short. Give it to him again.
Yep. Considering the state of his hamstrings, for him to run that far was impressive.
There's a 4-man rush. Getting in. A nice. Oh, unfortunately can't bring him down, and he will rumble for the first down. A good run after contact. Getting in and almost making the key play there was Christopher Barnes for the Vultures. He gets in nicely. Unfortunately, just can't wrap him up and take him down.
Yeah, needed to go lower there. Nate's a big, strong man and able to shed him off and get the yardage needed for the first down. Now coming out of the game, he's had his 2 carries.
The rest is gravy, as they would say. First and 10. And Tanawa is in motion. He'll get this on the jet sweep. It's a good block on the edge, but an even nicer chase and tackle there from Hodgkinson, who's been possibly best on ground for the Vultures today.
Definitely earning his money today. Good read on the outside.
Good tackle.
Good hit to hit him right in the hips, take his legs out from under him. Excellent block from the left tackle there, though, Jackson Bro.
Second and long now. Riley Dix is looking like he's going to get plenty of game time experience now, and it's just proving more and more that Coach John Booker is honest when he says that he's trying to develop a team that will, go beyond his time here. He said he wanted to go younger with his team, and he wanted to make sure the team is younger this year, so it develops.
Yeah,
in the years to come.
It's always good to have options as well, and building up the homegrown talent is the best way to ensure longevity on a side.
It's all good and well to succeed with the fantastic talent that's come over, but you want to build something that lasts, not something that looks great in the history books. And here goes Parnell. Parnell, one of those overseas talented players, is taken down, and a good tackle by now an injured Vulture. I think that's one of the young players, Isaac Jergs.
Running the jet sweep again there, slightly high snap, but still managed to get it down in time.
And while there's a player down, let's take a look at the results so far in the men's division. Obviously, it was a league-wide bye for everyone but the junior division last week. So looking back to round 6, we saw the Rhinos, they're coming off of a huge win. Rhinos defeating the Raptors 80-13. The Raptors picking up 13 points, which is impressive. The Thunder 27 on the Ravens, and a very close game. They went to the final quarter there. The Thunder proving they are the number 2 team right now in the men's division. And the Stingrays, they fought back to action, 71 points to 6 over the Vultures.
Yeah, well, I saw a little bit of the Thunder Ravens game. I was commentating the Rhinos game, but I saw a little bit of the Thunder game, and came down to even the final play. I believe the Ravens might have had a kick to tie it up at the end, but just missed.
Indeed they did. And this is a very, very high snap. Dix is going to have to dive on it there. And that's the first real big mistake for the Rhinos today.
Yeah, someone's got a little excited there.
And while we're talking about the standings, let's talk about the league standings right now. The Rhinos undefeated on 12 points. Thunder right behind them. They've only dropped the one game to the Rhinos, I believe. Ravens at 5 points. They lead the Stingrays, but they are playing a little later today at the Gold Coast, so that can certainly change depending on that result. Vultures have the one win against the Raptors, and the Raptors, who are the home team today, in Game 2, they'll be looking to pull off a huge upset over the Thunder today and register their first win.
Although they looked impressive against the Rhinos last game out, they stuck in there. They gave up too many points, but they definitely put some drives together, so anything is possible.
I believe Aaron Verbeek's still in at quarterback for them for that game at 4:30, and we've got a stoppage here. And we've got a penalty that's against the Rhinos, but let's look forward to week 9 while we've got a quick second here. 13th of October next week, back here at D-Bait, where at 2 p.m. we will see the Raptors back on the stream taking on the Sunbelt champions, the Bayside Ravens of the women's division. And then at 4:30, the Raptors men's, they'll be taking over the Vultures, which will be a game that both of these teams are looking forward to, and quite frankly, I'm looking forward to calling.
It should be an entertaining clash. No one wants to finish last, so they'll be giving absolutely everything out there.
So, well, we will see a situation here. Well, we thought it might have been a punt, but Gordon, what's he doing? Is he changing his depth? It looks like he will be punting. Nope, he'll be passing. He'll throw it out to the flat and intercepted by the Vultures. The Vultures can get a touchdown here as Hodgkinson, the man who's been making plays all days. Can he get there? Yes, he can. The Vultures, no flags on the field. They'll get on the board.
Well done, well done. The Rhinos taking the opportunity to practice some trickery there that they might need later in the season, and it has not come off there.
So, Gordon, responsible for a pick 6 there, but hey, look, they're trying new things, but let's not take away from the Vultures. What a read by Hodgkinson. Had a lot of space to cover.
Yeah, just sailed the pass a little bit. I think he does have the arm to get that there, but just didn't quite get the grip on it, maybe with the wet ball.
Parnell almost chased him down, but enough in the tank there from Hodgkinson. Deserved the touchdown today, and he got one.
Absolutely.
Now they're going to go for a PAT attempt.
We might have another equipment violation, though, or something similar.
That'll be the second one we see today. And, oh, Parnell's moving off. I'm just looking at his pants here. Let's see if he's got knee pads on.
I think most of them do have them. It's whether they cover the knees.
That's what I was alluding to, absolutely. That's the IFAF ruling. And it's a good snap. It's a bad kick, though, and the Rhinos can return this for 6. No, they shan't. And recovering that is number 27.
Manuel Kappa.
Carper. Let's see who gets a block there. I think it might actually hit one of the backs of the offensive lineman there. And let's see if the wide picks it up. And we're going to slow it down here. Let's see if we can add a kick block to anyone's name. And, oh, I don't know this. The player that's broken through the middle here might have got it. We'll see if we get his number. Yeah, I think it might have been right to the mush.
Oh, someone's going to have to get a concussion check.
But well, he does go straight to the ground, so maybe.
Understandably so, yes.
So, well, regardless, we didn't get your number. I think it was in the 80s. They've got a kick block to their name. So, no goose eggs today. The Vultures on the board, 34 points to 6. Let's see if they go for onside kick.
Let's see what they dial up for the kickoff.
Why not?
They've got nothing to lose.
Just capitalise on a bit of momentum you got right now.
Yep,
so.
if they can get the ball back here in good position.
And they'll do it. They'll try it. The Rhinos, still bobbling, still going. And Matty Neal will eventually wrap that up. Not a bad attempt.
Well anticipated too there by the Rhinos. So their men dropped back straight behind it. Didn't let it get behind them too much. But had trouble getting the handle, but eventually finished it off.
You've got to imagine if you're a team with a kicker that kicks them that often, you're probably going to be practicing against it that often.
Or at least aware of the possibilities. I don't know whether they'd practice it as much as some teams might, as some teams facing Eddie Quackle might have to.
1st and 10, Riley Dix back for the Rhinos. He'll get off to his other co-partner, and he fumbles it, but gets it back on it immediately. And taking that carry was Tristan Gibson. And that ball's proven to be a bit slippery. Whilst it's not raining, that field, I was on there for pre-games, it's moist.
Yeah, it's still a little bit damp underfoot, which is going to affect the handling, obviously.
Just looking at a bunch of the Griffith Uni Thunder rolling in now. Getting stretched up and ready to go for their game against the home side today. And he's in. Wait a minute. Dix has squirted out to the right-hand side. Now he's got blockers. He's going to get close to the first down marker. He might just be short.
I thought last play there was a gap up the middle for him, but in this time he has there. There's a long mesh there.
Well, I thought it was going to be a tackle for a loss there. He's held onto the ball and ripped it away from the running back, saying, I see a better option.
That might have been a true read there, where he saw his back was going to get nailed and dragged it back out.
Well,
bringing in Nate Peterson now for the short yardage.
The power back. But once upon a time, you actually had designated handoffs, but in more and more in this offense, every handoff's an option almost.
Yeah, when the read option first came in, it was a revelation for a lot of people.
Peterson, right edge, hit near the line, and there's a flag, and I'm going to go on a limb here. I wonder if there's a possible targeting call, because I saw
there was a loud hit there, yeah.
Yeah, and it looked like it was possible shoulder to the head. Peterson's up and fine, but we don't quite see it from that angle.
No, I think they're going to call holding, I believe.
Holding? It's on the Rhinos. Let's see if we can look at this line and everyone's pulled for holding. Yeah, right there. Good. Caught well on the wide there. So good job by the defensive tackle, number 48. Justin Duggan, the man who tried to block the kickoff. So, 3rd and long now. What was after that 10-yard holding penalty? There was 3rd and short. Peterson's still in the game, though. Dix, high snap, he'll keep it. Still looking for an option now. We'll tuck it and run, will he? No, he'll shoot it out to McClam. McClam will try to dance his way to a first down and will be stopped short. That'll bring up 4th. So good elusiveness shown by Dix.
Yeah, pulled it back down and just struggled to find the right option there. Luckily had McClam on the edge, which is always a good option.
And Joel keep pulling him short, about 3 or 4 yards short of the first down. 4th down now, no thoughts of punting. Dix is back, Hokianga, Tanawa. And McClam out to the right-hand side, Peterson in the back. And it'll be give to Nate. Nate will look for blockers. He'll get close and he'll fall over the line from my angle.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's a first down from here. Looks like he got to the 36, sorry.
Hey, 4th and 4, and they trusted Peterson. Most would consider that a passing situation. Good call, good execution.
Good blocking by the line there. They really rumbled him downfield so that when he did actually make contact, it was close enough that he was able to fall over for what he needed.
Dix tries the hard count, almost gets him. Peterson, play action pass. Dix going long for McClam. And, nice tip. Oh! Has he done it again? Whether it's a touchdown or not.
Touchdown.
He stopped at the 1. Oh, my Lord.
Catch.
The tipster.
Oh, my.
Hokianga, the tipster Tanawa, has a knack for catching tipped balls.
No, they've overruled it. The sideline judge has overruled.
And they're going to say it's incomplete, so let's give credit to the man who tipped it, Yanni Elitera. Wow, nice play. Oh, let's take a look.
The reaction time is impressive.
Oh, yeah, it touches the ground there.
Touches the ground.
It's a heck of an effort, but by the rule book, that's the right call.
Yeah, to be able to adjust his hands that quickly, like it looked fast on slow motion.
Yeah, so, exactly right. By the year's end, he's going to have a highlight reel alone just on tipped pass efforts. 2nd and 10, timeout here by the Rhinos. Coach Booker wants to have a chat.
Well, I'll go out and let him say that if we are ever to see another hook and ladder again, he's my odds-on favourite to receive the
let's
tip.
take a look at it one more time, and we'll look at it in real time. He said it looked fast and slow-mo. Let's take a look at it in real time. Tip, catch, almost catch.
Easy.
In real time, it looked good. 2nd and long. Oh, sorry, 2nd and 10, I should say. McClam still in the game, and it's slot now in motion. Another high snap over the head of Dix. Now, I've got to say, have we changed centre? Usually Glasson.
I'm not sure. I think Hannum is out there.
Hannum?
He normally plays centre when he does play. He has got the glove only on one hand. Number 70, Jack Hannum, he's in there. And, I know Riley Dix isn't as tall as Christian Strong, but that is significantly higher than the snaps he had earlier. I believe Ryan Glasson has come out onto the field. We'll see whether he stays out or whether he's just giving advice in the huddle.
We've got 3rd and forever, and we'll take a look at the junior results. Obviously, he was a junior round last week in round 7, the only division that played. The Stingrays, they played a doubleheader, the first time that's ever happened in Gridiron, Queensland. So good on them for agreeing to do that. They won 40-0 over the Bengals. The Raptors 18-14 over the Spartans, which unfortunately got called late in the 3rd, I believe, due to injuries. The Raptors were ahead at the time. And then in one of the best games I've called this season, a 12-12 draw on the final game of the junior round in round 7, which came down to the final play there, the Rhinos tackling out Crew there just short of the end zone to keep it a draw. The junior league standings after that draw, the Stingrays, well, nothing really changes. They're still ahead at 13 competition points. The Rhinos on 9. Raptors, they're at 6. And the Spartans, they have the 1 win over the Bengals. The Bengals still hoping to chase that first W with the rounds remaining. And just to confirm for those thinking, usually the Sunbowl for us, 3 games, Colts, women's, men's. The juniors will be a fixture on Sunbowl Day as well. So we'll be seeing 4 games, and I'll need a lot of buttermentals. Riley Dix, McLean will pass. A college quarterback in his own right. He throws long for Tanawa. Tanawa DPI'd. Will they call it? Yes, they will.
Yep.
Pretty blatant. So, McLean, a little bit of trickery there. For those who don't know, McLean actually started over Christian Strong in their first year at Seton College. So he is a capable quarterback there, and eventually, obviously, wide receiver with the prominence of Strong in his junior and senior year. So,
yeah, just underthrew it a little bit, forced the receiver to come back, but the DB lost track of it and just jumped into the receiver, and that's PI.
Yeah, even if he is looking back at the ball there, he is blatantly disadvantaged the wide receiver a chance to catch the ball fairly.
The only advantage is you only give up 15 yards. Unlike the NFL, where that would have been the ball at the spot where it happened, you only give up 15 yards.
But an automatic first.
Yes.
But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, sometimes it's worth it, isn't it?
It is a tactic. I've said to some DBs, if they know they're out jumped, you might as well drag the guy to the ground and give up the 15 rather than the touchdown.
Riley Dix. Peterson in there to protect him. He'll throw short to the left. Short arms at third. Pass was intended to his Colt teammate in Henrique Vultures, and that'll be second down. So,
by our clock, we don't have much time left, so they're probably going to be taking a couple of shots here. We'll see what sort of arm Mr. Dix has on him.
And it is interesting. Riley Dix, whilst obviously effectively serving as a backup quarterback at the senior level, is still in competition for starting snaps in his Colts team, because him and Mitch Bradford, both capable quarterbacks, and effectively they're rotating between quarterbacks. They still haven't been able to find a starter between them.
Embarrassment of riches, as I believe we've called that one.
Indeed it is. And then on top of that, it's a pick now. His knee was on the ground. A great intercept, though, on Riley Dix. That by the left corner.
Just trying to put too much into it. The breeze is coming across the field, so he might have been trying to arm the ball a bit too much and missed his target.
And I think that might have been a Colt picking off a Colt there. Isaac Jerks jumping the route. So, yeah, bit of Colt on Colt action. So let's see if the Vultures want to sling it downfield. Of course, if you do that, I have to admit it, you're putting it in the potential hands and feet of Parnell. So,
yeah, if I was them, I'd be going to the left. Parnell line up out on the right with Johnny Nico, who's already got a pick six.
5 seconds by our clock, which should be pretty accurate. And they will just take this ball to the half, give it to Joel Keep, I believe. And he'll wrestle his way there. The play will... I believe the play clock will run out during that play, or had run out, and that's the call. So that is halftime here in the first game of this Week 8 doubleheader. The Rhinos, they lead the Vultures 34 points to 6. I'm Kenny Andreas. I've been joined by Phil Levis. We're going to take a short break for halftime. We'll see you on the other side. More GQ action to come. And we're back from halftime. Kenny Andres, Phil Levis, your call team here for GQTV round 8, where the Brisbane Rhinos, they lead the Vultures 33 points to 6. The Rhinos moving to a couple of their depth players, and the Vultures still showing plenty of fight, managed to score before the end of the first half.
Yeah, well done to them. A nice pick six on a fake punt pass.
And they're going to try and drill this short, but it's well recovered there from the Rhinos front man, Emmanuel Copper. A bit of a skill position there, plays a bit of safety, and I think I've seen him line up at wide receiver once or twice, so more than capable of fielding a short kick like that.
Yeah, not a bad idea having hands team on the front line at all times. Let's see what the Rhinos come out with this time around.
So Riley Dix is back at quarterback, as is Nate Peterson at running back. O-line, I think, appears to be pretty sturdy. I think they'll roll with the same O-line that started the game, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that I think, is that Glasson at centre?
Glasson, I believe, is back at centre.
One change, I believe, on the O-line. Hannum is off for now. Glasson has moved to centre. He could be working double duties, and a late substitution flag there, I think. I think the wide receiver in Vultures might have slipped onto the field there late.
Oh, I think that might have been the illegal shift penalty that I've just blown dead.
There's the Vultures sideline there. Coach Seddon. There's Cummins, the quarterback today. Couple of the linemen.
Rhinos going with their 3-tackle set again.
Well, there's one way to make sure that there's maximum participation from your O-line.
Yep. Rewarding the boys.
Was that a legal replacement, I heard?
Yeah, illegal substitution didn't come
Yep.
inside the numbers.
So we will still see first down, but they'll lose 5 yards for that. Big Brendan Osmond there at right tackle, or is that even tight end, actually, technically speaking? That's the extra offensive lineman he talked about. Walters in motion. Will he get the ball? No, he shan't. He'll block for Dix, but Dix will get slinged down to the ground there by Christopher Barnes.
Good read from the defense. I believe he's defensive lineman.
And Barnes, who got in there early as well, earlier in the second quarter, but couldn't wrap up Peterson. That time wraps up nicely.
And coming from D-line, that's a hard play to read because so many people in motion who could have the ball, but he's managed to pick out the right person there and added a sack to his tally.
And he's certainly allowed to make a lot of plays. Inside him is number 87 in Joel Turkle, who's the big bodybuilding defensive tackle that's probably commanding a fair few blockers on his own. There he is at nose right now. That's Parnell in motion. And Dix will hand off to Peterson. Peterson patiently grabs a couple of yards. We'll get this closer to the original line of scrimmage.
Bit of a counter look there, pulling Lyman in front of him.
Great job there from...
Certainly a luxury from a running back's point of view.
It's nothing like getting the ball and not being touched for the first 4 yards. 3rd and long, looking at about 3rd and 17. And they'll give to Peterson. Peterson will try to bowl over the linebacker, and we'll get this back to the original spot of the ball. And that'll be 4th and 10. Doubt they'll punt. Dix is staying on. No, Gordon is moving to the back of the huddle, so... Well, Gordon...
No, Dix is coming back out.
No, but Dix is back up there, so they will pass. Or they will run a play, I should say. Looking at 4th and 11. But they've got Parnell now. So McClam's off the field. Parnell's taking snaps. Hokianga, Taniwa in the slot. He'll look that way. Dix is looking for Taniwa, but he will find Lau, who cannot pick the ball off. Regardless, it's 4th down. He's probably better off not catching that ball anyway.
Yeah, it didn't look like a good pass out of the hand there. Might have just whiffed on a little bit.
Yeah, it does duck on him a little bit there. And that'll be a turnover on downs. The Vultures, they survive a drive, and they'll have an opportunity to try to increase their 6 points they acquired in the first half.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if they can build something here. Will they go to the run or will they go straight out to the pass like they did in the first half?
Yeah, well, they had something going there. They had a couple of short screens that looked like had the possibility of working. Now looks like Carper's now starting at right corner. Man who recovered the onside kick earlier. Cummins, hand this ball off. There's a little bit of space and it'll turn into about, actually, 3, 4, maybe even 5 yards there for number 37, Matthew Emmett, who's moved from wide receiver to running back. Call it 6 yards, in fact.
Yeah, very good. They got a decent block on that one and managed to side his way through and keep his feet long enough to get 6. Let's see if they can build on the back of that here.
They might have like open tryouts for running back, the Vultures, because they are down quite a few. 2 wide receivers out to the right, split 2 by 2, in fact. Cummins will hand off to him again, but James Calishaw says, nah, G, and takes him down for a big loss. And the end coming off. But yes, talking about their running backs, starting running back at the start of the season, Nick Christensen. He unfortunately got injured a couple weeks ago against the Raptors, broke his tibia.
Oh, ouchie.
I saw him out stumbling along. He's still supporting team, still goes to every practice. So credit to the young man. He wants to be a Vulture.
Yeah. With the trying out new running backs, often you don't know what you've got until you give someone a try in this league.
Emmett not looking too shabby. He'll go out in a flat pattern here, and they'll throw over the top and into the hands of Parnell. Look out! No one's going to catch him. Parnell untouched to the end zone. That's 6 for 3 flags. Back down, though. Who's blocked who in the back?
I believe that might be a little hold there on number 45.
And Tanavasa. It's another tipped ball, and I think you might be right. Getting tangled up there with Emmett. Flag thrown in light, so they've saved themselves 6 points.
For the time being, at the very least.
Parnell will now only have about 980 touchdowns for the season.
I haven't been told there is a bet, but I would not be surprised if there is one amongst several players on the Rhinos. So who's going to top the tally at the end of the year?
Well, that depends. Is that including the quarterback's passing touchdowns? Surely not.
Surely not, no.
That's not fair. Yeah,
or at least at a bit of a multiplier for him, maybe double.
Well, it's almost it's effectively, for the most of them, they can't score the touchdowns with him scoring.
That's very dangerous, too, to make that sort of bet with the quarterback, because then he'll often call his own number on running
exactly
plays.
Right. You'll see a slight increase in quarterback draws. So that pick 6 gets called back. Score remains 33 points to 6. It will still be a turnover, though. The infraction happened after the change of possession, so the Rhinos and Riley Dix will come back on to try to add that 6 via the offensive side of the ball. Vultures, he's on the field now, but the give is to Gibson. Gibson on the inside zone, picks up maybe 2 yards. And
good tackle from the D lineman there to shed his blocker and make a good legs tackle from Christopher Barnes, I believe there.
He's been pretty busy today as well, actually.
Yes. Rhinos persisting with their heavy set. Two tackles lined up to the right this time.
But generous last play is probably only a 1 yard gain there for Gibson, who remains in the backfield. And he will take a carry again. More yards on this play. Much healthier thing, but he's lost the ball, and I think that's been a recovery. We'll wait for the final call. Recovery to the Vultures. It is indeed. We're getting a Vulture signal. So Gibson, that's unfortunately something he needs to fix up. That's a couple fumbles on the day for him.
Yeah, carrying it in one hand, needs to get the second hand on it as soon as he gets into contact or traffic there.
And he doesn't, I mean, I've watched him in the Colts division. He doesn't have a fumbling problem. Is this a case of probably just taking on much stronger defenders?
Much stronger defenders and more of them. A lot more bodies to get past. A lot less open field to run in. Yeah, it's an adjustment that's got to be made. For now just discussing over whether it actually is a fumble, and yes, we have confirmation.
So, for those who only tune into our men's games, perhaps, the Colts division and the juniors division, and the women's division for that matter, are played in the 9-player format. So there is obviously, you take away the 2 tackles on offense, and then two front seven defenders on defense, and there's a lot more open space, and he can generally see a lot more of the hits and defenders coming your way when you're a ball carrier. Makes it a bit easier to protect the football. First down and 10. And what have we got? Looks like a false start.
Left tackle again there. Let's see whether James Collishaw got offside first, though.
Let's see, because he went up, but did he actually get into the... Yep, they're calling it on Collishaw. And that'll give them a cheeky 5 yards. So, free 5 yards for the Vultures. Does that change your play calling from first and 10 to first and 5? Do you call the same play that you were going to do and get the yardage?
I'd say so. You might be more open to a pass on this down, only having 5 yards to go. You could go back to you could go back to a run as well.
First and 5. Cummins, they'll go to a run, and Collishaw makes up for his error. Immediately gets back those 5 yards he gave up a play ago. Just breaks through on the backside.
Just shedding straight through his blockers there and making the tackle before the running back could even get going.
Using those lanky arms of his.
He is a very, very tall player.
It is indeed.
Not the heaviest of D linemen, but very hard to get a block on because of his length.
Second and 9. And they'll call this play to a stop. We've got a delay game or a false start.
I believe that was a false start on the slot receiver, Jenny Helatera.
Collishaw might actually be making it off the field now. He's got a bit of a hobble on. False start, and you called it on the wide receiver there, so they'll move back now, and that second and 9 becomes all that more difficult. Well, the good news is the rain has continued to steer clear here of us at Deception Bay. So let's see how long that holds on, or if I've just cursed us to a downpour.
The breeze is quite pleasant. It's constant and would be a little bit more than the QBs might like, but it's quite pleasant up here for us.
Plenty good for the linemen. Another false start.
I believe that might be some inexperience there from the Vultures. The near receiver on this side was bouncing before the snap, but we'll see if it was someone else as well.
We can't really pick up the refs there, but I think I heard an 80 number, so likely wide receiver, and I think the Vultures now set it. I think wisely using a timeout here to sort of calm everyone down and remind everyone what to do, or in this case, what not to do.
Yeah. As I said, playing with players out of position or inexperienced players, it's often sometimes you forget to go through the simple and obvious things. The things that you think are simple and obvious are not always simple and obvious to everyone.
And just getting confirmation, I think it was the last one. The false start was number 33, Hodgkinson, I should say. So got about second and 19 on the other side of this timeout. And
what that does is take the likelihood of a run not off the table, but reduces it significantly.
Yeah. Some defenses now will probably be more than happy to allow a 4, 5, even 6 yard run. Still puts you in a hole there on third down.
Yeah. We're going trip sets out to the left again.
They ran a screen and a clear out from this formation in the first half. And it looks like they'll go to that clear out, but they'll go to the running back who caught it with pace and will be taken down after a good gain. Matty Neal runs him out of bounds.
Defender got into position, just could not make the tackle. Well done to shed the defender, and Matty Neal has to come and clean up.
Thought that for a second there might be Gosson and Tomboy or Gosson Kaniki, but it appears he's an inactive for today. As we said, they're missing almost 20 players. 25 is the figure I was given.
Yeah, a lot of injuries, a lot of other commitments. I believe Cham James is attending the International
NFL
Combine.
And here it is to Emmett. Emmett sees nothing but a sea of red, though. Taken out of the backfield from Joe Tulmavave. And that's the sight you don't really like to see as a running back.
No, especially a man of the size of Joe.
Big Joe.
Yeah, a bit of a gentle giant, but still a very large man.
Speaking about Big Joe, Little Joe, Joe Rasmussen, I believe he's still out with a lower leg injury.
Still they're missing quite a few with injury. Joe Rasmussen, I know Dean Mahina was looking promising early in the season before he did his leg, but hopefully they'll both be back later in the season and make a good run towards the finals.
Yeah, he was a good inside threat for the Rhinos, big Dean Latamahina, another one who learnt for many years under the man standing to my right. And this will be a punt. It's a decent punt, and it looks like it'll be out of bounds there around the 27-ish. Ball back to the Rhinos now. Nonetheless, still a pretty good time-consuming drive there for the Vultures.
Yeah. Didn't result in as many positive yards as they was like, but they still managed to hold the ball for a good period, which will at least slow the Rhinos' pace down a little bit.
You see the man back there in their sort of light green hoodie there, Nick Christensen, the injured starting running back. Still supporting his team. It's a heck of a journey to come out here.
Yeah, well done to come out here when you're not playing is very impressive. It's hard enough when you are playing to travel that sort of distance, but to come out when you're not playing and you know you're probably going to go away with a loss is very impressive.
Tanawa with a jet sweep and then gets crushed in the backfield. A play there from J.D. Stoner, who stepped away from the O-line temporarily to play some D. Missed to fix it at it again.
Yeah, you got straight through almost untouched there, so someone's missed their block.
And for the Vultures, it was already going to be a tall order, but they certainly had quite a few inactives themselves. Just looking at my team list here, Jake Carter, running back, he's out for work. Craig McLean, who was another player, he tore his ACL through the start of the season. Alex Saunders was only there as a kicker punter due to injury. He couldn't make it down today. Andy Farrell, obviously we mentioned earlier, for work. Adam Groth, another, he has a calf injury. Anton Snedden has a knee injury. So plenty of key veteran players there unavailable for the Vultures. So speaking of the Vultures, another great stop in the backfield there.
Yeah, their D-line is starting to step up and get some good penetration against the Rhinos.
Mr. J.D. Stoner again. He's the type of guy that, speaking to his coach, you kind of wish you had about 4 of them.
Yes. There's a lot to be said for a bit of fire in the belly.
He's the type of guy, I remember I worked closely with him back when he had his 1 year at the Ravens. He's the type of bloke, he's blue collar as they come, hard-working. Won't say a bad word, we'll just go to work. And there's a fumble on the play here. Squirts out of Peterson's arm, and it could be recovered here by the Vultures. In fact, it has. They've got some fantastic field position just outside of the red zone.
Just a bad handoff, I think. No. Bit of a high snap. QB struggled to get the ball down into the running back's belly and got squeezed out and couldn't make the recovery once it was on the ground. Well done to the Vultures to drive the Rhinos back and force them into a bad position.
As we mentioned, that ground is still slippery despite the absence of rain over the last 45 minutes at least, probably closer to an hour. But there's still plenty of moisture on that ground. That ball gets slippery. Well, how big of a morale boost would it be for the Vultures if they can somehow string together a short offensive drive here? They get some in for 6.
That would be a very, very confidence building for them.
And here goes Emmett, I believe. Gets a decent job on the ground there, and he'll get up. You can definitely tell that hit hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, Rhinos a little bit annoyed at having to be on defense again, perhaps.
was Neil coming off. He's got multiple ticks in the tackle box today.
He's having quite a good game.
What's his secret, mate? Has he found the fountain of youth?
He just, every couple of years he has a year off or goes and does something else, but seems to come back all fired up again.
Goes on another journey on the... And this is a much less successful play. Taken to the backfield is Cummins.
Yeah, read option there, I think. He didn't like the option his running back provided, but
Big stuff
unfortunately his option was not as good either.
Joe Tulmavavi there for the TFL.
That's why sometimes in an option play you need 3 options.
3rd down and 9, speaking of threes. This might be a timeout. Yes, it is. The Vultures offense looking a bit confused there. Coach Steddon saying, let's talk about it then.
This is their best opportunity. They want to come back, calm down, make sure they've got everything right for this play, because this play could make or break their day. If they can get...
And we're back here after the timeout. We're about midway through the 3rd quarter. Time ticking down as both teams seemingly go into the running game a lot here in the second half. Matter of fact, closer to the end of the 3rd quarter. 1 minute 30 left here in quarter number 3. On 3rd down and 9, the Raptors an opportunity here. The best field position they've had all day. Cummins, he wants a short pass. He'll get it. He'll pass it to Emmett. Emmett will try to break the tackle of Copper. He cannot do that. And that will move it to about 4th and 6 when we get the final spot. And no doubts here, they'll probably load up and go for it.
This is the opportunity to empty the playbook and throw whatever you want out. Is no use holding anything back on this play.
Well, there's the question here, as an offensive play caller, which you are you going for the first down or are you going for the end zone here?
I think you've got to have at least 2 options. You've got to send at least one guy deep to the end zone and probably have another guy underneath him looking for the first down.
And they've got something like that. They're looking for the deep man and almost makes a fantastic grab is the young Colton Isaac Jurgers, who got a pick earlier in the game. Unfortunately can't bring this there. He's looking for a DPI, won't get it.
No. Decent coverage. Maybe a little bit of hint of a push, but very subtle on the part of the DB there.
Well, a valiant effort there by the Vultures offensive line. It was actually a decent pass, exactly where it probably needed to be, but couldn't quite connect.
Yeah, I think everyone was where they wanted to be on that play. Just the handle did not stick that time.
At the outside release they wanted, the ball was there, but sometimes you just inches away from making a play. 36 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. You can see the Raptors warming up in the background. Riley Dix to Peterson. Peterson taking the tackle going forward, possibly approaching
about 2 yards there on that play.
About 2 yards. Peterson possibly looking at a season high in carries today.
Oh, could be. I'd have to check the long records as to what his records are like. He has spent most of his career as a fullback, so carries would be few and far between.
He must be loving the single back carries.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
As someone who was a former fullback,
I imagine Matt Neal is standing very close to the offensive coordinator as well, going, I used to play that position as well.
Played running back.
Him and Nate have a very friendly rivalry there as well.
Do. End of the third quarter now. We're moving into quarter number 4. The halftime score unchanged, 33 points to 6. As we move into the fourth quarter here, GQTV, Week 8 action. And as we look at the fourth quarter now, plenty of youth on the field for the Rhinos. Gibson, he's jumping in now to spell Peterson. Henrik Vultures is in there. Koo, not a Colt, but a younger offensive lineman in on the line.
Yeah, they're obviously blooding their younger, more inexperienced players and getting players time at different positions so they can rely on them later in the year if something does go awry or they need to try something different.
Dix and Gibson, the very young backfield. It'll be a gift to Gibson. Gibson shows off some quick feet, but the Vultures, 44, and Joel Keep shows off his experience.
A good little bit of misdirection bringing the fullback across the front, but the Vultures did well to read it.
So that was a decent gain though. Now we've got 3rd and 6. Ball on the 22. Big shout out to Gary Kendall, who's operating our scoreboard today. And it's another give to Gibson. Gibson's lost it, but he's recovered. And
Be a
that'll
little
bring a 4th down.
little worrying for him there, losing the handle on another football.
And it
I
was a
think
hot
the
hit.
QB may have tried to drag that one back, and that's what resulted there. So not entirely the running back's fault on that
It
occasion.
might be a mechanics issue between both those guys to try to establish
Yeah,
what means what.
yeah.
Because typically speaking, in those sort of things, it's as a running back, you're taught to just really hold on to it. It's the quarterback's job to rip it out if they don't want it.
I believe on these read options, the running back is told to try and take it, and it's up to the QB to give
it away.
or to take back.
And it's one here. Gorton back to kick. It's a torpedo-ish kick that pretty much bounces out on the 32-yard line. Let's see where they officially spot it. Oh, well, okay, they've gone a little more generous than I. They're going to mark it on the 29.
A decent kick. Didn't try and give it too much there, and made sure he got to the sideline.
Yeah, the light breeze is in his face.
Yeah, feels a bit across to me, but yeah, aiming for that near sideline and got as many yards as he could out of it, making sure they couldn't get a return on it.
And now on offense is number 87, the big man in Joel Turkle. I think he's playing on the offensive line, and once again to a full wide look. Cummins will give to Emmett again. Emmett will try to fight for yards. He's fighting off Tanavasa, Neal, and Tuamavave. Tries his best, but is taken down behind the line.
Yeah, that's not a winning scenario for most running backs.
And, it is interesting. I was talking to Coach Seddon beforehand at the start when you had all the players before they went down to injury and availability and the players that just naturally go MIA. They had a heavily stacked wide receiver base team, and as far as personnel goes, so that's where their playbook went to. It went to a multi-wide receiver formational playbook, but then as they fell off, they were left with a playbook that didn't have the personnel to fulfill it.
Yeah. And also conditions as well. You've got to have plans for the eventuality of conditions not being conducive to running run and shoot offenses.
A nice completion there to Mitch Obacker. Young Colt picking up a catch. Good protection there. Ernest Moore trying to get through, but well shut off on the right edge. 3rd down and short.
What do you think here, Kenny? Will they try and run it up the middle and get the first down?
Oh, well, being shut down with Emmett the last couple of times they have. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to another pass to the flat. And they'll actually keep it through Cummins, and Cummins will get punished, and that'll bring up 4th down. Joe Mavave.
Not enough separation there from the running back and the QB if you're going to run that sort of play.
Uh-oh. I don't know if you can hear that through my our comms, but Thor has arrived here at Deception Bay. Whether he's brought his hammer and lightning is another story. 4th down. And punter. And it's a good punt. It might sit up for him in these conditions, and that it will. And they'll block people out of the way, and they should pick it up. And fortunately, the Rhinos opt not to, but the best practice there is for the Vultures to pick that ball up.
Always very dangerous to see a punt rolling around like that, but everyone's managed to keep their cool.
Well, it's a great punt there from Urbacher. As I said, those line drives, because of the heaviness of the surface today, they won't bounce as much as a typical field will. So it's set up nicely, and that's a punt inside the not only the 10, but the 5.
I think it's just inside the 10, actually,
is it?
Kenny. I think it's on about the 9. But good job there to recognise they didn't have one of their speed men back to return, and that gave him a bit more option to drive it down the middle of the field.
1st and 10 now for the Rhinos. Inside their own territory. Is this Peterson? Peterson, I'm hearing thumps and pumps everywhere, and he'll eventually stumble forward for a good gain on 1st down. Good block in there, and good block there from Finn Shortman as well downfield.
Yep, the Rhinos have probably had a little talk while the defence was on the field and fixed up what was happening with their blocking, because that one looked a lot better from their point of view. No one into the backfield untouched.
Shortman tries the hard count. Play action pass, he'll roll out to the right. Still looks to pass, will dump it off short, trying to hit Walters. Walters can't quite bring it in. They'll bring up 3rd and 3.
He did well to get out the outside, just couldn't get the ball to his option there on the edge.
And what makes that play tricky there is when they bring in that fake, usually the guy responsible for the backside pursuit, he should also be the guy covering that space in the flat, isn't he?
Yeah, it's putting him in the worst possible option, worst possible situation by making whatever he does the wrong thing.
3rd down and
I believe we've got an
3.
equipment violation on the Vultures this time. Sorry.
There's plenty of equipment on these players, and they might be Hodgkinson.
Or maybe he's being asked to see the medics or for blood. Yeah, it looks more like a blood.
He's worked bloody hard today. It doesn't surprise me at all that he might have a few scrapes and bruises. That, or he's trying to get some free consultation on a mole he's been worried about. Having a bit of fun with it now. Making sure his equipment's all good.
Yeah, well, they might have just been concerned he seems to be carrying that left hand and worried about whether he should be playing or not.
And he just claimed that it's just his pimp limp. And it's a high snap for Dix again. Peterson will be there to jump on it. Can he bring it in? Riley Dix will eventually help him clean up. And that has probably been, that'll certainly be something that'll be addressed in practice this week, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't think they're dealing with the slipperiness of the ball. Might be throwing them just a little bit, because every 4 or 5 snaps they seem to get one high, and that one was definitely way too high.
Well, this just proves that it's not just Hannum who's struggling with it there. It's the experienced centre and Glasson, so Hannum's probably from the sideline pointing out, saying, no, it's not just me.
Yes. And now we'll see a punt from the back of the end zone.
Well, special teams is the last place this team scored. They'd love to try and add to that. Can they get a block? Gorton gets it away, and a decent punt on top of that. He'll get over the head of the returner, which is Jurgis. Jurgis is taken down nicely by Carper. All around good special teams by the Rhinos.
Excellent open field tackle. They are very hard to make when the runner makes a break like that across field to actually just get your feet in the right position and wrap up the legs.
Wonderful stuff there by the Rhino special teams unit. Ball now on the Vultures 40.
Still decent field position for them. Let's see if they can put a good drive together and get into Rhinos territory.
6 minutes, 12 seconds left in this game. 33.6. The same score we left you with at halftime. So it's been a valiant fight here for the Vultures now. Really taking it to the Rhinos here in the second half. Three-man rush from the Rhinos. And that'll be enough to get into the backfield. The play finished off by Ernest Moore, but started by Kyron Tanavasa.
Yeah, just too much speed off the edge there.
And that's an interesting three-man front. You got two quick men in Tanavasa and Moore on the edge, and then Big Joe playing nose in the middle.
Yeah, very, very hard to deal with. This is the one disadvantage of those pistol plays. They do make it much harder to run a sweep or any outside run. You've got to wait for the QB to get the ball and then get it to the back, who's then got to get outside. It does slow those plays down a little bit.
Second and long. And it's second and 16. Cummins will look to the flat now, look back to the left flat, throws it over the top of the defender, but Emma can't bring it in. Third and long. He's been not afraid to stick it in, to stick in there and look for the best read, Emmett.
No, like I said, they come here to play and enjoy themselves, and they're putting it to the Rhinos in the second half. If they can come out of this half with either scores stay as they are or put some points on themselves, they'll count themselves winners on the day.
And those fluoro greens jerseys rightfully looking quite dirty by the end of this game. All right, we'll have to pump it, and Cummins realizes he'll have to take it himself. And he won't be able to get it back to the line of scrimmage. He'll be taken down, well, stopped, I should say, for a sack by the Rhinos defense. But the fluoro green brought in a couple of years ago when former Stingrays, former Ravens, now Stingrays again, running back and linebacker Ben O'Connor had 1 year in the Vultures and his company, which was a green company. They brought in the green color too.
It does definitely stand out. We're saying about the differences in colours amongst the teams earlier in
good punt there from O'Backer. And it's still in bounds. Uh-oh, here goes Walters. He likes the open field as much as the rest of them. What will he do? He'll circle back looking for some blockers now, and eventually will be taken down. Could have been dangerous, ultimately well covered by the Vultures. I think there might be Emmett taken down. But he's taking the kick return duties in this back end of the quarter from some of the other players, like the other two import returners. Speaking of the import, here's a taste of the overseas talent for the Brisbane Rhinos, their 2018 imports. Obviously, Christian Strong, who played into the start of the second quarter. We know all about him. Jarvis McClam, we've seen plenty of him as Devontre Parnell. And Seton Hill University producing both Strong and McClam. And Devontre Parnell out of Louisville and Southern Miss. And what a heck of a graphic. Whoever made it, sure he's a good bloke. A run there on first down for the Rhinos.
Yeah, there was definitely good talent the Rhinos have managed to pick up, and also having them from the same university, having played together, means the chemistry comes pre-packaged.
And of course, that probably doesn't include possibly one of the most vital imports, if you want to call him that, of all, which is head coach John Booker, who's obviously done a lot to change the culture here in Brisbane Rhinos Gridiron.
It has been a massive positive for their program across all levels.
And Dix again has to deal with another high snap. We'll eventually down this, so add that again to the negative plays for the Rhinos. But not only for Gridiron, John Booker, that I'm referring to, is positive influence, but now appointed, as the 2019 under 19s Queensland coach for the Sun Devils. So he'll be spreading that knowledge out to the rest of the league.
Yeah, a massive pickup for the Sun Devils there. That'll help their program immensely, and hopefully continue their dominance at the Colts level.
Hearing a bit of thunder again now coming from the right side of the field. No lightning as of yet. Another high snap. This one's picked off from Dix though, and tried to give it to Gibson. It was messy all round. Eventually they get tackled for about a 3-4 yard loss.
Yeah, just struggling with those snaps. They're just getting way too high. Obviously having to squeeze the ball a bit tighter because it's slippery, and that's just affecting the release.
Well, I did say that these snaps, I mean, Christian Strong is a much taller quarterback than Dix. That's the first and foremost one. I guess on top of that, he can probably reach and jump a little higher. So the target point for the centre probably isn't great. And there's our official 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remaining in this game, in this round 8 game between the Brisbane Rhinos and the Toowoomba Valley's Vultures.
He just may be hanging on to it a bit too long because it's so wet or so slippery, and that's resulting in him going
Norton's
high.
back. He gives a line drive, and it's caught on the full by someone who probably did not expect to do it. It's number 58, who I actually don't have on my rosters. The one guy I don't have on my roster, so credit to him.
Good pickup, but got scythed down there at the end.
Samuel Johnston copping a bit of misfire. Well, first down and 10.
Good field position again here for the Vultures. Let's see what they can do with it.
Well, it was a similar situation. Back into the half, they had an opportunity. Let's see if they can head back down to Toowoomba with an extra touchdown under their belt. Make the post-game beers taste that little bit more sweeter, I imagine.
Let's see if they can get a run up the middle here and get some positive yardage. Just make things a bit easier for play calling later.
Well, they're going wide first. There is a little bit of space there, but that space is quickly shot down there by Sebastian Gordon. And Emmett looks spent.
Yeah. Yeah, a bit too slow to develop there. The fumbled handoff didn't help, and that just gave the Rhinos time to get to the point of attack.
And he's still down, actually, Emmett.
Hopefully it's just winded from having such large men land on him.
He is.
Although it might be a knee.
Yeah, he's tapping at his left knee, which isn't good news. So our last 2-minute period of the game might go a little bit longer now. It could also perhaps just be cramp.
I think with cramp he would have tried to get up, or at least called someone over. So we'd see them stretching the leg if it was.
Yeah.
It might not be in there. It might be something more of a groin. He did sort of get spun around as he went to ground.
Yeah. Well, while they take a look over him, let's take a look at some of the upcoming games for LSB, starting with next week, week 9, 13th of October. We're back here at Deception Bay, 2 p.m. Raptors and Ravens in the women's division. And in the men's division, the Raptors are taking on the Vultures. We'll be seeing 2 of the teams today, back at 4:30 next week. The week following, week 10, we're back down to the Gold Coast at Glennon Park at 1:30 p.m. We'll see some Colts action once more. The Gold Coast Stingrays taking on the Brisbane Rhinos in a battle of 1v2. And men's, the Brisbane Rhinos are taking on the Gold Coast Stingrays, which would be a huge clash, particularly for the Stingrays. And looking even further ahead, week 11, this is the last time we will see the men's division. It'll be 4 p.m. starting off in the women's div. The Stingrays taking on the Ravens, always a classic battle. And then at 6:30 p.m., it'll be the Raptors taking on the Gold Coast Stingrays. So 2nd and 11 now, and it's been carried off.
They were moving his leg, so it's not a break or anything that serious.
Carmen's looking long and will only find the waiting hands of Sebastian Gordon, who uses the stiff arm to advance forward and eventually is run out of bounds around the 10, 20, 30, 40 yard line. And, well, you're trying to score late in the quarter, and unfortunately sometimes chances come takeaways.
I think he was going deep on that one, and yeah, the ball being tough to handle, a bit greasy, just didn't get enough depth on it. And the waiting Rhinos linebackers were able to pick it off.
In week 12, we will see all the women's teams with the two games covering obviously the 4 women's teams in the divisions at 1:30 p.m. Ravens versus Griffith, and Raptors taking on the Stingrays in a week that could certainly dictate who finishes where. The Ravens women's taking their first loss of this season a couple weeks ago. Peterson taking another carry.
I think they managed to get the Vultures offside there and had the free play. But I think they might decline here because Peterson got about 7 yards on that one, maybe even 8.
Is that David Begg on the sideline there? He's always one of the most animated staff members.
He is fun on game days. But brings a lot of knowledge, experience in Canada before he moved to Australia.
Second and short following that last playing penalty. Will they let Riley Dix sling it? Or will they let Enrique Walters take a carry first? He's trying to step his way through some Vultures. Won't be able to get too far. Probably adds another yard to the drive so far.
Well, might be close enough for first down, or just short perhaps.
Yeah, inches. Oh, nope. Exactly.
Maybe a yard and a half short. Yeah, I think he had blockers inside, just didn't manage to cut up inside once they arrived.
Oh, 3rd and 1. Here for Riley Dix and Gibson. And they'll give it to Gibson. Gibson will try to get a tight hold on that ball, and I think he's been stopped short.
Just maybe a yard short or less. Did well to hang on to it that time, though.
And it is.
Still might want to put 2 hands on it when he's in traffic, though.
Joel Keep, new final player on the stop there. 4th and, I'd argue, less than 1 now. Same personnel, plenty of Colts, and will they call this game as the clock gets close to 4 zeros? Yes, they will. So that will be our final score, a 0-all second half between the Toowoomba Valley's Vultures and the Brisbane Rhinos. Brisbane Rhinos keep their first place position intact and come away with a win here at Deception Bay over the Toowoomba Valley's Vultures. Phil Levis, overall thoughts?
Once again, clinical display from the Rhino starters, and then got their backups in who struggled, and I think the conditions were a bit more of a surprise to them. But well done from the Vultures, a good showing in that second half to stand up and really make a good accounting of themselves. They should be very proud of their effort today.
Well, Coach Seddon said he just wants guys who will stick around, who will play, who will train, who will develop, and I think he's found a good group of guys here. So he certainly got that today. For the rest of you, a pleasure. Your company has been an absolute pleasure for us. With us here in the first game, we've got more GQ action to come not too far away. The scheduled kickoff is 4:30 p.m. And we will update you because there are a few weather reports to come, but we will update you as soon as we know. Thanks for your company. We look forward to you sticking around. Be back soon.
Get him up. Funny how you choose and pick your battles, dude. Keep saying you number 1, but I'm on top. Yo, it's done. Dropping styles like napalm. Fake rappers think they so strong. Verses full of hype and always ready for a fight. Spontaneous, magnanimous, cause they can't get close enough to run with us. If you wanna battle, get it hard, get it raw. No emotions, I shake you until your chains fall off. What? Large, in charge, I set the bar high. You running with the big boys now, get up, don't cry.